The morning was calm, with the kind of quiet that makes you feel at ease. The sun peeked through the trees, casting soft, golden light onto the cobblestone street outside a small cafe called Cozy Brew. This little corner of the city had a charm that regulars loved. Warm wooden tables, the smell of fresh coffee in the air, and the gentle hum of jazz music playing softly in the background. Inside, Anna, a young black waitress, was already on her feet, moving quickly between tables with practiced ease. For Anna, this was just another day. She'd been working at Cozy Brew for a while now, greeting customers with her bright smile and serving steaming cups of coffee without missing a beat. She didn't know that today would be anything but ordinary. Near the window, a man walked in quietly, his presence going almost unnoticed. He wore a checkered shirt, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his face. There was no entourage, no flashy car outside. Nothing to suggest that this was Elon Musk, one of the most well-known people on the planet. He wasn't here as the billionaire CEO or the visionary everyone recognized. Today, he just wanted to enjoy a peaceful moment, away from the cameras, the noise, and the pressure. Elon chose a small table by the window where the sunlight streamed in. As he sipped his coffee, he glanced outside at the world passing by. He wondered how different life would be if he weren't Elon Musk. Could he walk the streets freely, meet people without them pulling out their phones, and savor small moments like this without a second thought? For now, though, he just enjoyed the quiet. Little did he know, Anna's courage was about to turn this simple morning into something unforgettable. Anna walked over to the table by the window, balancing a tray with practiced ease. She greeted the man sitting there with a warm smile, as she did with all her customers. "Good morning. What can I get for you today?" she asked cheerfully. The man looked up, his face partially hidden beneath the brim of his baseball cap. "Just a black coffee, please. And maybe a slice of apple pie if you've got it," he replied with a friendly tone. "Coming right up," Anna said, jotting down the order before heading back to the counter. To her, he seemed like any other customer, a quiet man enjoying a peaceful morning. She didn't think twice about it. When she brought the coffee and pie to his table, they exchanged a few light words. "This is one of the best spots in the city," Anna said casually, setting the tray down. "I think you'll love the pie. It's my favorite." Elon smiled faintly. "It's nice to just be somewhere simple for a change," he said, almost to himself. Anna didn't pick up on the deeper meaning behind his words. She just nodded politely and moved on to serve the next customer. But for Elon, her kindness and casual conversation were refreshing. He wasn't Elon Musk to her. He was just another person sitting in the cafe. It was a rare moment where he felt like he could blend in, even if only for a little while. As he took a bite of the pie and sipped his coffee, Elon's mind wandered. He thought about how much he missed moments like these, free from the pressure and attention that came with his name. Kindness, he thought, was something the world often overlooked in its rush for success and power. Suddenly, the sound of roaring motorcycle engines cut through the calm atmosphere, growing louder as they approached. Elon glanced toward the door, his brief moment of peace slipping away. Something told him the morning was about to take a sharp turn. The cafe's peaceful buzz came to an abrupt halt when the front door swung open with force, making the small bell above it jingle loudly. A group of 5 bikers stomped inside, their heavy boots thudding against the wooden floor. They were hard to miss, dressed in black leather jackets, their arms and necks covered in bold tattoos. The smell of gasoline and cigarette smoke seemed to trail behind them, filling the cozy space with an air of unease. They laughed loudly, their voices cutting through the soft jazz playing in the background. The regular customers glanced up nervously, then quickly looked back down at their drinks, not wanting to draw attention. The bikers didn't care about anyone's discomfort. They walked in as if they owned the place, their energy commanding the room in the worst way. Anna, standing behind the counter, froze for a moment as she watched them. Her heart began to race, but she tried to focus on her work, hoping they would just order something and leave. The leader of the group, a tall man with a skull tattoo on his forearm, scanned the room with a sly grin. His eyes landed on Elon, who sat quietly by the window, sipping his coffee. Well, the leader said, his voice dripping with mockery. "Look at this guy. all alone with his fancy little coffee. "What are you, a writer or something?" Elon didn't flinch. He calmly set his coffee cup down and glanced at the man, his expression unreadable. "Just enjoying a quiet morning," he said evenly. The biker leader chuckled, clearly unsatisfied with Elon's calm demeanor. "Quiet, huh? Let's make it a little more exciting," he said as he reached for Elon's plate, picking up the slice of apple pie. He held it up as if inspecting it, then took a big bite, grinning smugly. Across the room, Anna's hands trembled as she gripped the edge of the counter. She could see the tension building. Customers whispered among themselves, some quietly slipping out the door to avoid trouble. Anna hesitated, unsure of what to do. Should she step in? Should she stay out of it? Elon's calmness didn't waver, but the bikers' loud laughter and taunts filled the air, pushing the cafe further into an uncomfortable silence. The situation was spiraling quickly, and Anna knew it wouldn't end well if no one did anything. Anna stood behind the counter, her heart pounding as the laughter and taunts from the bikers grew louder. She could see the tension in the cafe. Customers were either frozen in their seats or quietly slipping out to avoid trouble. Her hands trembled, and her mind raced with doubt. She wasn't someone who looked for conflict, but seeing Elon remain calm while being mocked stirred something inside her. Someone had to do something, and no one else seemed willing. Taking a deep breath, Anna stepped out from behind the counter and walked toward the bikers. Her knees felt weak, but she kept her head high. "Excuse me," she said, her voice shaking slightly but loud enough to cut through their noise. The group turned to look at her, their grins fading into a mix of surprise and amusement. "This is a cafe, not a playground for your games," Anna continued, her voice steadier now. "You've got no right to harass our customers or disturb everyone here. If you want to order something, fine. If not, you need to leave." The leader, still holding Elon's half-eaten slice of pie, let out a loud laugh. "And who's going to make us, little Miss Waitress?" "You," he sneered, leaning closer to her. His crew burst into laughter, clapping and egging him on. Anna didn't back down, even though her legs felt like they might give out. "Yes," she said firmly, "if that's what it takes. But I won't let you treat people like this." Elon, watching the scene unfold, stayed silent but straightened in his seat. His gaze was fixed on Anna, admiration glinting in his eyes. The leader tilted his head, sizing her up. "You're brave. I'll give you that," he said mockingly. "But bravery doesn't mean much when you don't know what you're up against." He stepped closer, but before he could say more, Elon finally spoke. "She's right," Elon said, his voice calm but commanding. "You may think strength comes from being loud or intimidating, but real strength comes from respect. And right now, you're showing none of it." The room fell silent. Even the bikers seemed caught off guard by Elon's steady words. The leader's grin faltered as he looked between Anna and Elon, unsure how to respond. The balance of power in the room had shifted, and everyone could feel it. The air in the cafe was thick with tension when the distant wail of police sirens pierced through the noise. Everyone froze. A staff member, worried things might get out of hand, had quietly called the authorities. Within moments, 2 officers stepped inside, their presence instantly shifting the dynamic in the room. The bikers exchanged glances, their confidence cracking. "Let's go," the leader muttered, his bravado quickly fading. One of the more aggressive bikers resisted, mouthing off to the officers, which earned him a pair of handcuffs. The rest left grudgingly, muttering curses under their breath. As the heavy wooden door swung shut behind them, the cafe was left in an uneasy silence. Some customers sighed in relief, while others whispered among themselves. Not everyone was supportive. A woman near the counter leaned toward her friend and murmured, "This place used to be so peaceful. Now look at it." An older man shook his head, his voice barely audible as he said, "She didn't need to get involved. It only made things worse." Anna stood by the counter, her heart still racing. She felt the weight of their stares, some grateful, others judgmental. She wanted to defend herself, to explain that she couldn't just stand by and watch, but before she could say anything, her boss, Mr. Smith, approached. "Anna, can I talk to you in the back?" His voice was sharp, leaving no room for argument. Once they were out of earshot, Mr. Smith turned to her, his frustration clear. What were you thinking? This is a cafe, not a battlefield. People come here for peace, not drama. Anna tried to explain, her voice trembling. I just couldn't let them treat him, or anyone like that. It wasn't right. Mr. Smith sighed heavily, shaking his head. Maybe so, but look around. Customers walked out. This whole thing could have cost us business. I can't have staff creating scenes like this. I'm sorry, Anna, but I have to let you go. Her breath caught in her throat. She felt a wave of emotions, shock, sadness, and anger all at once. She wanted to argue, to tell him she did the right thing, but she knew it wouldn't change anything. Holding back tears, Anna nodded and quietly grabbed her things, leaving the cafe behind. Despite the pain, she felt a quiet resolve deep inside. She knew she had done what was right, even if it came at a cost. The next morning, Anna woke up in her small apartment, her heart still heavy from the events of the day before. She replayed everything in her mind. The bikers, the police, her boss's harsh words, and walking out of the cafe for the last time. She had spent the night wondering if she'd made the right choice, but deep down, she knew she couldn't have done anything differently. Standing up for someone, no matter the cost, felt right. She had barely finished her cup of tea when she heard the sound of a car pulling up outside. Peeking out the window, her eyes widened in disbelief. A sleek, black luxury car had stopped in front of her building. The car door opened, and out stepped Elon Musk, dressed sharply in a suit. 2 bodyguards flanked him, scanning the area as they walked toward her door. Anna's heart raced. She quickly straightened her shirt and opened the door, unsure of what to expect. Elon stood there with a calm but serious expression. "Good morning, Anna," he said, his voice steady. "Good morning," she replied, barely able to process what was happening. "What are you doing here?" Elon smiled faintly. "I wanted to thank you. What you did yesterday, it took courage, and not many people would have stood up the way you did. You reminded me of something important, that doing the right thing often isn't easy, but it's always worth it." Anna didn't know what to say. She felt a mix of pride and confusion as Elon continued. "I don't think bravery like yours should go unnoticed. That's why I'm here. I'd like to offer you a position with Tesla's Social Welfare Foundation. It's a role where you can continue standing up for what's right and make an even bigger difference." Her jaw dropped. "You're serious?" she asked, still trying to wrap her head around his words. "Completely serious," Elon replied. "You've shown you have the heart and the principles we need." "What do you say?" Anna felt tears welling up in her eyes. After everything that had happened, this was the last thing she had expected. She nodded, her voice breaking as she said, "Thank you. I'll do my best." As Elon smiled and shook her hand, Anna felt a new sense of hope. Her life had changed in an instant, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. The day after the incident at the cafe, Anna wakes up feeling a mix of sadness and determination. The events from yesterday weigh heavily on her heart, but she tries not to regret standing up for what she believed was right. She's still shocked by how everything turned out, but she knows deep down that her actions were necessary. As she's sipping her coffee in her small apartment, trying to figure out her next steps, she hears a car pull up outside. At first, she thinks it's just another passerby, but then she hears the unmistakable sound of a luxury car engine, followed by the sudden appearance of a black limousine. It's out of place in her quiet neighborhood. Anna peers out the window, curious, and her eyes widen in disbelief as Elon Musk steps out of the car, flanked by a couple of bodyguards. Her mind races. What is he doing here? Is this a dream? She quickly tries to compose herself, wondering if she should even go outside. But before she can think too much about it, there's a knock at her door. Her heart skips a beat. It's Elon. She opens the door, unsure of what to expect. Elon smiles, and instead of acting like a distant celebrity, he speaks to her like an old friend. "I've been thinking a lot about yesterday," he says, his voice warm. "Your bravery really impressed me. Not many people would have stood up for a stranger like that." Anna feels a little awkward, unsure how to respond, but Elon continues. He tells her that her actions inspired him in ways he couldn't put into words, and that he wanted to offer her something life-changing. He goes on to explain that she has a rare quality, one that the world needs more of: integrity and courage. He then makes her an unexpected offer. Elon invites Anna to join Tesla's Social Welfare Foundation, a position where she can use her voice to make a real difference. He tells her she'll have the opportunity to work on projects focused on kindness, justice, and improving people's lives. This offer feels surreal, and Anna can hardly believe what she's hearing. For a moment, everything seems to stand still. A regular day suddenly turned into a life-changing moment. As Anna starts her new role at Tesla's Social Welfare Foundation, she can't help but reflect on how much her life has changed in such a short time. Just a day ago, she was fired from her job at the cafe, unsure of what would come next. Now, she's stepping into a position that allows her to use her voice for something greater. It feels unreal, but she's ready. Anna is finally beginning to understand her own potential, realizing that one simple act of standing up for what's right has opened doors she never imagined possible. With each new project she works on, Anna sees the impact she can have on the world around her. She meets people who share her passion for making a difference, and for the first time, she feels like she's truly where she belongs. Her journey, from a small cafe to being part of something much bigger, reminds her of the power of kindness and courage. Before Anna starts her first big project, Elon gives her one last piece of advice. He tells her, freedom isn't just about doing what you want, it's about doing what's right, even when it's hard. Kindness isn't a weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths we have. And you've already shown the world that, Anna. Now it's time to keep using that strength to make things better. As Anna steps forward into her new life, she carries with her a powerful reminder. Sometimes, it only takes one act of courage to change everything. With that thought, she walks confidently into the future, ready to face whatever comes next.